Yeah, one of the things that stood out to me about some of what I read about your work was the critical challenge of product market fit. And I think you kind of used a different term a few minutes ago in terms of the value void. Are those two things related in this case? Are they kind of different aspects? I'd love to kind of hear your thought on that.
Sure. So it's great that you picked that up, and we kind of in two different chapters. So just lay out the framework a little bit. Titanic effect overall kind of maps into what we call four oceans. So we've got the human ocean, the people involved, whether that's investors, co-founders, and your early employees. The technical ocean, which is all about the product and decisions around development, design, and eventually production. The marketing ocean, which deals with customer segmentation and understanding your market, delivering value proposition and differentiation. And then the last piece is the strategy ocean that kind of ties everything else together. So product market fit kind of overlaps between two oceans, the technical ocean and the marketing ocean. And the kind of technical equivalent that we talk about in the technical ocean is the false hope debt berg. So that's where, you go and show your family members and they're like, oh, that's great, Johnny, nice job. This is going to be really cool. And then nobody buys it, right? And there's that false hope that you get from not getting an honest appraisal and candid feedback. And often that goes along with that value void debt berg in the marketing ocean, that you've convinced yourself that you're solving an important problem for the customer, but the reality is there's a value void. They either aren't willing to pay for it, or they've already solved that problem in their own way. And it may not look like your solution, but they are still overcoming the challenge that problem presents in a different way. And getting that nuance of product market fit, what is the right set of solutions? How do we effectively start to build, but then test that early with our market, and understanding the value proposition from the customer's perspective, getting their feedback and input in the design process, see how they break it. And in some research we've seen recently, even with software, that can take as much as an average of 4 years to actually really come to a firm understanding of that. And it's often not until you get that product market fit that you can really start to scale your business and grow it more rapidly. So very related. And I would say the value void is one piece of that product market fit kind of puzzle.
Well, and you left the market part out, which is that different customers might see different types
Absolutely.
of value and want different functionality. And so it is iterative between the marketing and the technical ocean, that you got to figure out who would have this problem. What's the exact problem they have, and how do we build something for that problem that they'll pay for? And that's kind of the idea with the customer value void, is you might have a solution, but are people going to be willing to pay for it? And I mean, if you ask some venture capitalists, they'll say, in order to have a scalable startup, your product has to offer 10 times the functional benefits of all previous solutions. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's 5 times. Maybe if it's a really big problem, it can only be 2 times, but it can't be no incremental benefit. And sometimes we see entrepreneurs get really excited, but you don't like to be the Nancy naysayer. But you're like, is anyone going to pay for that?
It's actually a very simple test, right? If you think you have a product that has value, there are 2 people who can write you checks: investors and customers. And if after 6 months you haven't been able to get a check or even a letter of intent or promise from a customer to be your customer, it's likely that you're off track. It's likely that there's a value void there, and you are hitting that false hope debt berg.